What up? What up? What's going on? Hey, Paul.
Hey, Ant. What's going on, man?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Not to go into Bond for another hour.
Yeah.
But you were just telling me that you saw the new Bond flick.
I just saw the new Bond movie, yeah. It was very, very good. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it. It was a good closing chapter. Daniel Craig was brilliant. Everybody was brilliant, and the music was brilliant. And I found the Billie Eilish introduction song to be appropriate. I would say appropriate for that movie and appropriate for the time, and because you have to have somebody that's like famous right now, right? So
it makes sense.
Yeah, it was good. It was a really good all round. The only problem was somebody was right where we were sitting. Somebody was like commenting the entire movie.
Oh my god!
Like, oh my god, I love her dress. I wonder where that is. What type of car do you think that is?
Oh my fucking god!
His eyes are so blue.
Oh my god!
I wonder is that real alcohol they're drinking? Like, it was really super annoying. So
doesn't that make you want to?
Yeah.
Just lose it on the person. Like what are you, where do you think you are?
Yeah. It makes me want to go down to the DMV and get a license to kill.
Hey. Oh shit.
No, but it's so like public service announcement. If you're in the cinema, shut the fuck up. That's all I can say. Just shut up.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And shut up and watch the movie.
Yeah, because we're leaving our houses to go to this supposed to be quiet theater. It's dark for a reason. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to full immersion.
Yep.
That's why these new reclining seats are there too. They're just trying to get you only to focus on the movie. That's why I don't like waiting. Like, give me the recliner. That's cool. But what's this bullshit with a waiter? Like, get out of here.
They want to sell you food. They want to sell you like. I had a dine-in experience at a movie theater once, and it's never going to happen again.
It sucks.
It's not the place to go for healthy on the button cuisine.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Also, it's being cooked by a 14-year-old. I mean, I don't, I'm sure there's very good 14-year-old cooks out there, but I don't think they're employed by AMC somehow. But it was good.
Real quick, by the way, in that movie, one thing that I thought was so awesome was when those guys were in the that facility to steal, that thing. And they went into the elevator shaft. Do you remember what they did? They tossed some sort of thing, and then these, I guess, magnetic. Oh yeah, right. And then when they jumped down the elevator shaft with no cable, and then they had this gear on or something on them. So then the magnets were very strong, and they were, I guess they were magnetic too with this thing on them, and it slowed them down. That crazy, shit right there, that's the kind of stuff I love.
You know that Tom Cruise was sitting at home going, fuck,
yeah.
Fuck. And also, like, we were talking just before the podcast, before we started recording, shout out to Ana de Armas.
Oh yeah, she was awesome.
Who played a character called Paloma in the movie. It's really good.
She was awesome, dude.
It was unexpected and very cool. I hope they do a spin-off.
Yeah, man, I would so watch that. All right, so today's episode, Paul and I, we talked about it last week. So Paul and I each picked an album that we think is great to us. It's a great listen. Sent it to each other midweek, and we gave it a listen each, and now we're going to talk about it. So, which one do you want to start with? You want to start with the Crowded House album, Together Alone?
We can start with yours.
All right, cool.
Okay. Age Before Beauty.
Awesome. So wait, you mean start with mine, the one I picked or the one that I listened to? Which one?
Yeah, Jordan Rakei?
Jordan, I guess it's Rakei, I think.
Rakei? Okay.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, man. What you think?
I mean, so like from just a jumping off point, full disclosure, I'd never heard of this artist before. I'd never heard this album before, obviously. Really, really, like, from a sonic point of view, I mean, the record was made in 2017.
Yeah, so I think either 2017. Yeah, that's it, 2017, yeah.
It sounds exactly like I want an album to sound right now. You know,
right?
It's got a lot of elements that I really enjoy, which is I know that there's a couple of songs on there with electronic drums, but a really nice vintage dead sounding drum sound, number one. And really, really good vocals. Like, so what on first listen, I was like, okay, so what happened is Jeff Buckley left his DNA somewhere, and then
Yes.
and then somebody created
Yes.
a creature from the DNA of Jeff Buckley and Sam Smith.
Yep.
And now it's Jordan, and the vocals are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, there were I mean, the opening track, I thought, my only criticism of the album, I think it's the opening track. If I was Tom York, I would be calling my lawyer. There was like a part at the end of it where it's very much like some Radiohead song that I.
So you're talking about the one. It's called Eye to Eye, and
I think
when it
there's
goes
like
into,
there's like a
weird
piano.
time signature.
Yeah, it sounded like, I don't know if it sounded like Paranoid Android or if it sounded like Everything in Its Right Place, but it sounded very familiar to me, like very suggestive, but really well done as well. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't ripping it off. It was just like, that's
I didn't
clear,
get that from that, actually.
Yeah, it's clearly an influence of his. And then, so it kind of, when I started listening to it, I was immediately put in the frame of mind of when Jeff Buckley joined Radiohead and had, you know, Steve Jordan drumming. That's what I kind of felt like I was listening to.
Yeah.
So it's a really good album, and it goes through, like, the first 3 songs are very, very good, and then it gets to this song called Nerve.
Oh, man.
Dude, that is a track.
Yes.
Tell me about that track, Nerve.
I mean, it's hard, dude. It's hard to it's the perfect, first of all, it's just the perfect song track. Meaning the information, all of the content is great. Right? But the lyrics.
Okay.
Right. That's the one. Yeah, that's hold on, I'm trying to think of the melody real quick, but because the song is great groove. And then is that the one at the end too? Yeah, there's this really fucking cool, like, rhythmic keyboard part that you know, the beat is and then the keyboard's going jump, right? So cool. How can I find a reason to love you when I don't love myself?
That's like it's kind of like a mantra. He
Holy
speaks
shit.
it like a mantra at the end. Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean,
it's kind of, you know what it's kind of, if there was such a genre as progressive soul, it would be that, because it's quite poppy, it's quite soulful, but using all these like odd time signatures, meters, various different like musical tools.
Dude, that first track, by the way, I just got to say this too, because you've watched Mr. Robot and you know what that show's about. That eye to eye.
Okay.
Right? That we don't see eye to eye. And then the rhythm, of course, is such a weird rhythm.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, that should have been the trailer music to like Mr. Robot, the first season or something like that, or maybe the second season. We don't see eye to eye, and I think he's talking to himself.
Yeah,
or his
inner psyche.
Part of his you know, like
I felt the same thing. He was having a conversation with himself.
Yeah,
which was really cool. But yeah, I mean, it's actually weird that you bring up Mr. Robot, because it's very like Mr. Robot is a TV show that people of myself and your age watch. It's for us. It was made for us.
Yeah,
it was made for our generation. And this album, Wallflower, is super generational. It fits. It is exactly of its time, which is insanely. It's so appropriate. It's crazy. But I mean, I didn't really know that much about the recording of the album. Like, it sounds like, I mean, was it like a Stevie Wonder type situation, do you think? Did he do everything himself?
No,
or did he?
No. He, so I mean, well, he plays guitar, he plays keys. So he has all that stuff. And drums, though, he works with a guy, and I've been trying to I always have to rediscover this guy's name. And I feel bad. I've done this on a recording of a prior podcast episode where I'm like, what the fuck is this guy's name? Jim something.
Jim something.
Jim something. Yeah.
the something clan.
I think it's like McRae maybe.
Okay.
I think it's Jim McRae. I think, but so he's like a recording engineer, but he's also a drummer, and so they did it at his studios. I think that he might have something in London, possibly, or somewhere in England.
Right.
So he works with him on pretty much, I think almost every one of his albums. He's a good drummer. He knows how to dial in those sounds, man. I got to be honest. I think that I don't know how much. Because I listened to a podcast episode with like three of them talking about, you know, so there was this there's a song on here called, which one was it? Let's see. It might be Chemical Coincidence is what it's called, and if not that one, then it's one of them. So what they did was they had wherever his studio was located, there was like a sort of like a food court type place.
Okay.
Big open room, right? And I think what he said was they asked whoever owned it, can I record something for 30 minutes in here? And like whenever this place is closed, I'll come in as early as you want. As late as you want, whatever. So what they did was they brought speakers and maybe like a couple mics,
right? And
they played what was already recorded, what they had recorded dry in the box, right? And they played that over the speakers and then recorded the reverb. They wanted to get that natural reverb. So
wow,
they made. I mean, it sounds great. It really does. Which, that sounds fun. That just sounds like it made the process more fun.
So they basically pumped the pre-recorded thing into this space and then almost reamped it through a room.
Yep.
See, that's interesting because that's exactly how reverb was created. They had these chambers underneath Capitol Studios, and there was like 4 or 5 chambers of different shapes, which gave them different reverbs, and they would just pump the track through it and then re-record in that chamber, and that's how that reverb. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
But it's so authentic as well, because I'll have to go back and listen to that track again and see if I can spot the was it the entire song or just a particular?
The entire song. Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, and another thing that they did on a particular song was he explained what they did. It was that they recorded it. He wanted it to have a certain feel to it.
Sure.
But almost like an unnatural. So I guess the only way I can explain it is, do you know how in music videos, like specifically this video, I know for sure. Do you know "No One Knows" by Queens of the Stone Age? Do you know that song? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And have you seen the video of it where they're playing, like you see them playing their instruments, right? But it seems like the animation is just weirdly faster.
Okay.
Right? Like,
yeah.
And it's some sort of effect, apparently. Like, So anyway, they did that with the track where they sped up the track like a couple BPMs. So it has this weird, it has a weird, a little bit unnatural, and I don't mean a negative thing by unnatural.
Sure.
Just, it sounds a little bit more maybe sampled, I guess, if that makes sense, because he wanted it to sound like that. And it, and definitely like there was like some sort of synth pattern that was maybe on a, what is it called? Like I see the words, the rhythm. When you have you hold down a chord and it does a
arpeggio.
Arpeggio, that's the one.
Right.
There you go. Something like that. So anyway, go ahead. I took away the spotlight of this, just getting into this. But what else did you enjoy?
Do you know what I really enjoyed about it is I said a minute ago about the progressive soul. I genred it. I pigeonholed it. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
But I really liked the kind of concertina of some songs were very kind of folky soul.
Sure. Okay.
And then you had the more electronic stuff as well. I thought like it was like a very easy listen. Not easy listening, but a very easy listen. It was very calming. It was very vibey. I love the drum sound. But I mean, it's just his voice. Like you can have all of that, voice, and if you didn't have that voice, like and trying to describe the voice, because it's not quite Jeff Buckley. It's somebody who's, sometimes it almost sounds like a female vocalist. I know there's a female vocalist on one of the songs, and really it's like when she comes in, I think it's the last track on the album. It's almost, I mean, you can tell that's a different singer, but it's kind of they sound so similar. It's and I really like that. I really like that. I really like when good singers are okay with like feminizing their voice. Jeff Buckley did it quite a lot. Sam Smith does it quite a lot, where they, and it's not even. It's like you'd say, okay, well, they just do a falsetto. It's not. It's very soft, and it's very. They get the sense. They can communicate the sensitivity of, I mean, put it this way, one of my least favorite songs ever recorded is a song called "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" by some shitty hair metal band.
I hate that song.
But if you had Sam Smith sitting down at his piano singing it the way that he sings it, it would probably deliver.
Okay, yeah.
Because songs, like certain types of songs, need to be delivered with a certain amount of sensitivity.
Sure.
And I think where so many singers go wrong is they try to sing it like, I'm a really tough guy, but sometimes like my puppy gets sick and I'm sad, it's like, right, okay, whatever, man. This guy is completely, you can tell that, number one, he's writing about things that he knows about. There's authenticity to it, and the authenticity is delivered completely through the instrument of his voice, and it sounds incredible. And you just, it's like, I felt like I was at like a carnival. When you're at a carnival or you're at fucking IKEA and you walk around a corner and it's just something completely new.
Oh yeah.
It felt like that. It was like really engrossing, and and I consciously only listened to it like a couple of times. I didn't want to over listen to it.
Oh sure.
Because I really wanted to like portray a first impression. And that just stayed with me. Hours after I listened to the album, I was like, wow. Great vocal sound.
Great vocals.
And great, like really good recording of the vocal, but what an instrument he has. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, there's a song on here, dude, that I remember the first couple listens. it always like misled me. It's called Clues Blues.
Right.
Remember that one?
It's a funny one, yeah, because he says Blues Clues in it, right?
Yeah.
That was like a TV show, right?
I think for copyright reasons, I think he couldn't
write it down.
Yeah, which is great, which is brilliant.
That blue dog will come after you, man.
Yeah, that fucking blue dog, dude. Don't fuck with that blue dog, dude.
Don't fuck with that blue
Don't fuck with that. It'll blue skidoo all over you. You know what I'm saying?
It's already been made blue. I mean, it's gonna fuck you up. Yeah.
The like, you know, blue. It's like Blues Clues, something like that, right? But then you think that this is what is it? This is the tempo, and then you think that it's in duple time, and then it goes like a
swings,
and it had like it specifically had this dub flavor to it. This like, do you know what I mean? Reggae dub sound, sort of, and
like a deep bass and like a kind of swing to it, yeah.
And cool. the just the rhythm was. That's what. So one thing that I wonder if. Yeah, did you notice in this song, he does this, and he does this a lot on the album after this, which is also fucking so good. But on this, do you know the song Sorceress on this album?
Right, yeah.
Right? So, which I think is my favorite. I think when I heard that, I think I nutted. Because it was...
Dude.
I mean, that's just like everything I was looking for at that moment in time, like to listen to is what I mean. You know what I mean? So this album is special. That's why I love this album, man. So the song Sorceress, there's this, he'll sing very behind the beat. Very behind. Like, and when somebody does that, but they do it in a way where you know that they're in control.
Okay.
It makes the song, I mean, it makes it so much more interesting and flavorful and soulful, probably even too, in that, you know, ever so slightly behind the rhythm of the beat. And he definitely does that on Sorceress for sure. So
he's a drummer then. He's got to be a drummer to be able to do that.
I don't know, man. I think the world that he's in England, and there's a hub, man, of like musicians that are into this style this influence of styles. And it might have something to do with the universities there. I don't know how that works out, but you have incredible musicians who have studied, I guess, jazz essentially in a formal training sense, but then have their influences outside of that. And then this is what they come up with. And
it's really interesting you say that. That's super weird, because on one of the tracks, and I can't remember which one it was, again, I'm new to this record, there's he's quite old now, he's got to be in his 80s, still playing, he still plays live, a bass player called Herbie Flowers.
Okay.
And Herbie Flowers is the guy that, remember that really famous song by Lou Reed, "Hey babe, take a walk on the wild side."
Yeah.
Well, Herbie Flowers was the bass player on that.
Okay.
And he tells a very funny story about why because there's two bass lines on. There's an electric bass and a double bass.
Okay.
And Herbie was like 50s, 60s, 70s English, London-based session guy. Now, you think about all of the people that record these days with their, MIDI setups at home and all the rest of it. None of that existed before. If you wanted a bass line on a song, you had to go out and find a bass player and pay him to come into the studio and play for you. But he played on a lot of hits. He played on a lot of David Essex. There's a very famous album that I really like a lot called The War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne, based on it was like a concept album based on the book by H.G. Wells. He played bass on that. There's a tune on this album, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's either Herbie Flowers playing on it, or the producer sat down with the bass player and said, "Have you ever heard of a guy called Herbie Flowers? That's the bass line. That's the bass sound I want, and I want you to play like him."
Oh,
it's crazy. I was sitting there going, wow, it's
like in that song.
Yeah, exactly.
Or is that the guitar doing
it's the bass. So the sound is a Fender Jazz.
Okay.
With tape wound strings.
What?
Tape wound strings, not flat wound, tape wound.
Okay.
So there's strings with like a black kind of tape around. So a super dead muted sound, played with a pick and palm muted even more with the hand.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful bass sound.
Oh, he does that. He has that sound. I'm trying to think of the song for that.
Yeah, it's the sound. It's almost like a McCartney-esque type sound.
Yeah, he has that on Carnation?
Might be Carnation.
No, sorry. Hold on. No, I think it's Chemical Coincidence, I think.
But do you know what the crazy thing is? Thing is Herbie Flowers, when he's not on tour because Waterworlds is a touring production now. Okay. He's a jazz guy, and he goes around to the universities with his jazz band and does like recitals, performances.
Oh wow.
So that's what you were just saying about like the jazz influence and like the universities and stuff. That's crazy that you said that, and I'm like, because I think I made a mental note or wrote it down. Herbie Flowers' bass sound on this record. Got to talk about that. Fucking great, crazy sound. But that's mad that you just said that. That weird confluence of like, actually there may be something to that scene, you know.
I think so, man, because what I like is they seem to collaborate with each other. Because there's a guy, I've mentioned him so many times. I love his albums too. Is Tom Misch, his name is, and English Cat, and the two of these guys have collaborated a ton. And then there's another artist that they both collaborate with as well, and so there's something. Apparently, like a place like London, right?
Sure.
The appreciation for music, like the subculture of music, live music of any sort, is way more valuable and special than in like a New York or LA which is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
which makes me a little jealous, to be honest with you.
It's kind of weird. I actually lived in London for a while, and I wasn't really, at the time I was only recording. I spent most of the time in the studio.
Okay.
I wasn't really out playing live, but we did go through a little bit of a phase where it was very, I'm guessing like the early 2000s. It was very stylized and very superficial.
Okay.
But it kind of moved on from that, and currently, right now, in the last 10 years, there's been like artists like Mr. Hudson, who's Mr. Hudson is a guy that actually Kanye West worked with a lot early on in Mr. Hudson's career, and he's a solo artist, but he writes some of the most beautiful pop hip hop music I've ever heard. It's really good, great songwriter. A lot of artists like that. There's a lot of it's your success in the UK as an artist is far less based on how many on your fucking social media content as it is here, you know. Like a lot of artists, and actually elsewhere in the world, it's weird. Like I'm a huge fan of, and I've actually sent her an Instagram message to see if she'd come on the show, and she hasn't responded yet. Surprise. An Irish artist called Siavol, and Siavol would actually be like Jordan, very, very similar. She plays very kind of soulful music, but she sings Oscailga. She sings in Irish as well as
How
English.
Do you spell that?
Siavol, Siomha. And she recently completed her debut long play album, and Joe Dart was her bass player. Which is
nice.
Like, okay,
nice. Yeah.
Lucky girl. But like, she's got a very, very dedicated following, and she hardly ever posts on social media, and that's what I love about it. Like, it's just like I see all these artists all the time. like constantly daily content, and there's just no, it's very vapid, and we don't really have that back home. Like people are in the studio recording music and writing songs and creating good sounds. That's what they're doing, and what they're not doing is posting on social media every other day. It's crazy, but I think
I hate it, man.
Yeah, and I didn't look for this guy on social media or anything, but I did. I did get the sense that he again is just like, I'm too busy doing what I'm doing to be posting on social media all the time. But like I look at like comparing things like real artists that have are super have a lot of integrity, like Chris Thiele and the Punch Brothers never post on social media, like once a week maximum, because they're out there creating music and doing their job,
and they'll what I like is posting. They'll share something that's important to them, or a something cool, something like, oh, this is it means something to them, and that's why I don't mind seeing it, that's
exactly
cool,
And I think what happens then is when you sit down and listen to their music, there's an authenticity to it which I can appreciate even more now. Because,
absolutely.
It's great. It's wicked.
Yeah, man. Well, this one I've listened to thousands of times at this point, seems like. Everybody check it out. If you're a drummer, you'll love it. If you're a vocalist, or you love, you just love good singers, you'll love this. And it's interesting that in an interview, he said he doesn't think of himself as that. He's not confident in his singing ability or whatever.
Yeah,
just like, what?
Yeah, Jeff Buckley said the same thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a little bit of Jeff Buckley in there for sure, though. I did notice that as well.
I think if he had a Wikipedia page, I think you would definitely see Jeff Buckley's name in there somewhere. I think and a lot of of course, I don't know what age he is. I'm assuming he's in his 30s.
This kid, I say kid because I feel like he's like 29 or something.
Yeah, so there's a lot of a Radiohead influence there as well.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of soul, but English soul, like Sade, things like that. Not necessarily a Motown vibe, more of a kind of Lisa Stansfield, Sade, Lighthouse Family type influence. Which is cool. It's M People were another really popular British soul band.
Commercial, you said?
M People, M People, yeah. There's a weird reminiscence of that there as well. A little bit of Norah Jones, I guess.
Okay.
But anybody that's into production, sounds, instrumentation, vocal dexterity. Jordan Rakei, I think, or something like that. Yeah. Wallflowers.
Wallflower. I'm trying to find the drummer's name, dude. The guy who produced it.
I'm gonna fill in the space here while you Wikipedia that. Also, another great thing about this record is there's a female vocalist on the last song called Kaya Thomas Dyke.
Okay,
that's the next person I'm going to be listening to an album from, because that voice, man, incredible, just sensational.
I'm looking her up now.
I didn't quite have the same physical reaction as you had to the album. because I'm not a savage. but fair enough. To each their own.
To each their own, right?
To each their own, yeah. What's the drummer's name?
I'm trying to, dude. It's like to find this guy. I've done this before. I'm like Jim McRae. I'm spelling it wrong, dude. Your name is so hard to spell. Jim McRae. Yeah, he's great. And it looks as though he has his own recording studio, I guess. I think. And talented dude, gets great sounds. Clearly, I love his drum sounds, because I remember when I heard the album, I was starting to get better drum sounds. I remember,
right?
And just I gotta be. I don't think I've been into. Like, I'm not into even sitting down and playing and practicing the drums as much as I am, playing a drum part, recording it,
Mixing
and then
it.
trying to get that fucking sound that I'm trying to, like, that is something that I can spend hours, right?
Well, it's very interesting, and you realize that, like, kind of playing an instrument is almost like limiting. Where like
sure.
Even though a great performance getting captured is like that's invaluable, the things that you can do afterwards to really make it, because what you gotta do is you gotta take all of this, amazingly tuned drums with great mics. You gotta take this like really nice bass with like powerful pickups. Then you gotta squeeze it through these little fucking ear pods. Yeah. It's crazy, and you got to make it sound good everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's a challenge, man. That's a real challenge.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, quick little thing, because you and I were talking gear and talking about you're setting up your studio. So I got this, dude. You got to check out. You might want to buy it. This plugin called Auto Align. And it's by a company.
Align.
Yeah, it's by a company called Sound Radix.
Okay.
And so essentially, without going too into detail, but do you know that Nevermind snare drum sound? Do you know that like that Smells Like Teen Spirit and fucking In Bloom, like that whole album, right? Mm-hmm. That snare drum sound. There's something about that snare drum sound that, first of all, it's large, explosive. But also crisp, and like easy on the ears. You know what I mean? And like, I've always wondered, like, how do you get that sound, right? And I'm not saying that in my tiny ass basement I'm going to get that sound. That's not what I'm saying. But I've discovered something just through using this plugin that gets you closer to the sound that I'm describing. The sound that I'm describing is essentially every mic that's supposed to pick up that snare drum completely in phase with each other. And it's almost like a brass section playing completely in tune. Their sound pops. It sounds bigger for some, because all of those harmonics are in line or whatever. Same with this, I think. When everything lines up, you get that crisp, slappy, punchy sound that you want. And I did it the other day on a track, and it put everything in phase. And
wow, that's great.
Holy shit. Holy shit. It's you don't want to, when you like, when you get your raw audio and you're like, you listen to it and you're like, you hear the, I guess, you hear what it's not. Yeah. Right? You're like, oh, okay, here we go. All right, I got to do this. I got to boost this. I got to cut this. This made me not want to touch it.
Okay.
Just like what I was searching for prior was, I thought through something I wasn't getting, and I thought by EQing or compressing that I was going to, get there. And apparently it was just simply things being in phase. And that alone, like, so I was always chasing. This. Wow. Yeah.
Well, so I'm really glad that there's a plugin for it, because the only other option, it sounds like, is to get Butch Vig to produce your record.
That's right. And measure everything, and do a fucking algebra equation.
Yeah. They should just get a Butch Vig plugin, and just
they should,
with all of the crazy great things he did for music in the 90s, and of course he has his own band, But Garbage, now, which, I mean, they've been around for years, but they're so fucking good, man. They're so good.
I don't know enough of Garbage. Let's pick an album.
Yeah,
do you want to do an episode about Butch Vig?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do an episode about like a producer that also is in a band? You know what I mean?
We should totally. Butch Vig's a great example of that because he's an artist and a performer, but he's also like a really well-known producer. But we should do a Viggy. You know, we should call it Vig Newton's.
Vig Newton.
There you go.
I love that.
Cool, man. So that's Jordan, and that's Wallflower singular. Look it up on your chosen music streaming service. You will not be sorry. It's Sunday afternoon now. When does this episode get released, Anthony?
Probably next week, which would be the 23rd or the 24th of October.
Pop it on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday morning. It's a really good listen for, just sitting down and listening to music and not doing anything else, which is, something I'm a huge proponent of. Don't do the dishes while you're listening to it. Don't do any laundry.
Yeah,
don't
sit down.
Just sit down and listen to it. It's a pretty interesting listen. It's great.
And after that, listen to the one after that called Origins, which I almost like. They're different, but in a way better, So, all right. So, Paul, you chose, which, dude, I don't know this band at all, really. I've heard the name, but Crowded House. Together Alone is the album. The album came out in '93, and if I didn't know it came out in '93, I would have said this album. I would have listened to it, and I said this album came out in '93 or '92 or something like that.
It's very of its time, yeah.
Perfectly relevant to that time.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy good. So Together Alone, it's really interesting because what ended up happening is when we decided to do this episode, we were like, let's just pick two albums that we like. The music is great. The story behind the recording is great. The methods that they use to record is great. And here's an interesting thing that ended up happening. Crowded House there's members from New Zealand and Australia in the band. And Neil Finn and Tim Finn were New Zealish. They're Kiwis, and the drummer and bass player are from Australia. Jordan is an Australian New Zealand musician based in London. That's where he's from. Isn't that a really crazy coincidence that we both picked artists from that area? It's crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even think about that.
So Crowded House, they're probably my favorite. You know the way you have a favorite band?
Yep.
They're probably my favorite band. I got turned on to them when I was so my formation as a musician, as a bass player, I listened to heavy metal, thrash metal, and heavy rock from around 11, 12 up to 16, 17 years of age, and then I was turned on to Crowded House. The first thing I watched was their farewell concert, which is a weird place to start. Starting at the end. And they've since reformed, but and I was immediately, two things happened. I immediately fell in love with the band, and my style of bass playing immediately changed. I was no longer using a pick. I didn't just play heavy root notes. I was within a year I became an actual bass player who played bass lines and writing bass lines and all the rest of it. It was really, really formative for me. But of all of their and Neil Finn, the main songwriter in the band, is a massively respected songwriter. People people like Dave Mustaine, from just the kind of wide variance of people who have quoted Neil Finn as one of their favorite songwriters, people like Hans Zimmer, Dave Mustaine,
from Megadeth, right?
From Megadeth, this weird. He's this kind of, the way that if you sat down with a group of very famous writers, and you would be like, who's your favorite writer? And they would all say this one name. Neil Finn is that guy in the music industry. He's the songwriter that, Sheryl Crow, another one who's a huge huge fan of his songwriting. He's like this kind of talisman of songwriting within the music industry itself, you know, and you know, massively respected, and had like, you know, I mean, the thing that people say about Crowded House is, you know more Crowded House than you think you know.
Okay.
Because I remember back in the day when we started talking about Crowded House, I was like, yeah, Don't Dream It's Over. That's Crowded House. And you guys were like, oh, fucking hell, yeah, that song. You know,
which song was that?
Hey now, don't dream
I love that tune. Yeah.
That's Crowded House. It was a huge mega hit all over the world. And everyone's like, oh, yeah. And then they had Weather With You. Everywhere you go, always take the weather. Like, oh, yeah, that's Crowded House. So you kind of, they're this weird like band that's like always been on the edge of like massive worldwide success, but never quite got it.
Okay.
And kind of this record, Together Alone, was their response to that in a way. It was like it was one of the very, maybe not one of the very first times that people did this, but definitely it was one of the first times a massive worldwide band did this in response to getting out of the churn of recording an album in the same way. So the we'll talk about the music on the record in a minute, but the way that they recorded it. So for listeners, if you want to record an album, if you're a band that's signed to a record label, if you want to record an album, you do what? You book a recording studio, and you book an engineer, and you book a producer, and then you go in there for 6 months, and then you bring a load of songs in, and then you come out. You go into this place with 3 or 4 rooms and glass and all this electronic equipment, and then you come out and you've got a record. So in 1991, 86, 89 and 91, they recorded their first 3 albums: Crowded House, Temple of Low Men, and Woodface. Crowded House was a massive hit thanks to Don't Dream It's Over. Temple of Low Men was like a kind of good sophomore, you know. Okay. It was like, there was some really good songs in it. They didn't have any huge hits on there, but they kind of kept their standard going. And then they recorded an album called Woodface, which actually has a lot of really great songs on it. But the initial sessions that they recorded in a recording studio in Los Angeles were rejected by the record company.
Wow.
So they spent months recording it. They sent it to the record company, and the record company were like, no, you got to go back to the start and do it again. So what they actually did, and like, also at the same time, the record company was like, oh, and also there's no more money for this. You got to do it. You got to figure it out, you know? Because the record company will pay for the studio time. But then if you like, you know, they were told, we're not going to pay for more, like 6 more months of studio time. So they went back to Melbourne and recorded in Neil Finn's brother, Tim Finn's house. He had built a recording studio in his house called Periscope Studios, and spent like 2 or 3 months recording there. Sent the album off to the record company. We're like, this is fucking brilliant. Like, this was so much better. So they had a couple of huge hits on Woodface again.
Can I ask though, what do you think the reason might be for? Is it a sense of comfort because it's your space, or is it a sense of whoever they were working with as far as the producer that they paid? What do you think?
It's why. The reason I personally think, they've stated various reasons for why, and then so they went ahead and did Together Alone in the same way in a different place, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's about being organic, you know. Okay. It's about being able to go, you know what, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, there's a cricket match on, let's just shut it down for the afternoon. We're not getting anywhere with this vocal track or this organ track or whatever. It's the ability to be able to do that.
Oh, I see.
Because you're in your own studio. You're not paying for the time. So you basically, you know, if you've rented out the Hit Factory at, you know, $2,000 a day for 6 months, you're working every minute. It doesn't matter if you're not in the space. You're just gonna keep, you know, you're gonna keep at it. And it's not very organic, really, when you think about it. In fact, for art, it's quite counterintuitive, you know. And And for this particular group of musicians, they found that when they were in the comfort of a place that was a house or a home, and they just set up a studio and recorded at their own time, at their own pace, they had like way better results. It was crazy. So what they did with Together Alone then is they went to a place in New Zealand, and you should Google this, Anthony, a place called Rakei. And it's about an hour outside of Auckland.
And it's also a dish.
It's a well, kare is like, it's Maori. I think it's a fish dish or something like that.
It's Filipino, yeah. It's a stew. I think. Oh wait, I've had this.
Have you've eaten? There you go.
I've eaten this. Yeah, because it's a peanut sauce, and they usually have oxtail, beef tripe, pork, hocks, pig's feet. Hey,
there you go.
Hey, it all tastes good. All right. Anyway, so, you're saying Kare and New Zealand.
Yeah, so put in like Kare Beach and just look at the photographs. So this is where they recorded it. Yeah.
And
so
this is the name of the first album, the first song on the album too.
The first song on the album is called Kare, yeah, and it's a beautiful song. But like if you pulled up photographs of this place and then played that song Kare, you'd be like, yeah. So there was like this little, so there's a beach, and it's like very like volcanic cliffs, like like a lot of black sand there. And then there's like this valley that cuts up about half a mile into inland, and that's where they rented a house there, and they recorded. They set up a studio. They brought all this gear down. The place was only like an hour outside of Auckland. They brought all this gear down, the big mixing board, all their equipment. They rented this guy's house, and they were like, we're going to record the album here. Because they had kind of lost favor with the record company, so they didn't have the backing of the record company. So, they just, rocked up there, and they were like, some days they would get up and record, and they'd plug in, and they'd do their sound checks, and then the weather would change. And they would be like, oh, well, let's just go to the beach. Let's just go to the beach for the day. And then they'd go to the beach, and I'm sure there was some sort of chemical, influences there as well. And they would just, but then they would go back and they'd record like in the middle of the night, and they would record at times of the day when like they would be recording one song, and then the weather would change, like it would become all cloudy and misty. And then they'd be like, we need to record a different song now because it's a different atmosphere,
Yeah, I love that, man.
The
song, I love the song because it had I like the phrase was in the verse was 2 measures of 4, and then a measure of 6, and it just very cool musical decision. And it went with the melody. It was almost like, why add 2 extra beats? Fuck that,
right?
And make it 3 whole measures.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they like wouldn't necessarily have been a band where you think that they thought about, like measures of bars and things like that, but it's actually like very subtly clever musicianship, you know.
Dude, I have so many notes, by the way, that I wrote for every track. So it's an intense listen. But so the first song on the record, Kare, has one of the thing that I like the most in any first song on any album, and that is a really good introduction to the drum part. You think about it, all of the best albums, you go to track 1 on all of the best albums, how do the drums come in? It's like a kind of door opening, and I think it's really yeah, exactly, yeah. So there's like this slide guitar part, and then there's like there's this really great drum intro, and it just goes down, and then that's it, they're into the song. But it's got all the elements of a great Crowded House song. It's atmospheric, it's completely influenced by where they are, it's a very elemental, environmental, and it's got, I mean, those harmonies in the chorus. The harmonies,
all through the album. I mean, they're there all through the album, but in the chorus of this Kare song, it's just very like haunting and beautifully made song. But
Yeah.
But they're all over the place. I mean, on this record, it's incredible stuff. But so the album was produced by a guy called Youth.
The guy's name is Youth?
His name is Youth. He used to be the bass player in a British band called Killing Joke. And he was a bit of a fucking nutcase.
Really?
And yeah. So he would like fall asleep in the middle of takes and like smoke too much weed and just like... But one of the things that, like, one of the reasons that they chose him is like he would just be like, keep playing. He was one of these producers like, no, vibe out, just go crazy on the drums and all that. And you can hear it in the record. You can hear it it was pure creation.
Yes.
Because ultimately, when the album was done, it was sent off to Bob Clearmountain. It was a stipulation by the record company. They were like, whatever, you go down to the beach, smoke as much weed as you like, create whatever you want, use this crazy English guy, this English hippie who would like...
Martin Glover is his name.
Martin Glover is his name, yeah. And but Bob Clearmountain is mixing this record, and apparently when Clearmountain got the tapes, he was like, fucking, what is going on here? But, think about it, like, listen to the great sonic album that he got out of it. But
I would say that was the first, without a doubt. Well, other than it being, because I wrote that song is brilliantly 90s.
Yeah.
If you wanted to show somebody what the 90s felt like sonically, that's a song you can play, or this album, early 90s. Yeah. Yeah, and what I like is everything sounds amazing too. You have the best quality everything recorded, everything. You have a great vocalist, man. You have a great, and seems like a great lyricist too.
Exceptional lyricist, yeah, and very like, quirky.
I mean, but I would say the stuff deep in the mix is the stuff I love the most, because there was a fullness to every track, every single track, a fullness. There's some sort of, I didn't know if there's some subtle ass synth or something, or maybe it was just mixed that well that the harmonics of everything just made everything sound so beautiful and glisten. Yeah. But throughout the entire album, that was a theme, which is, this is not just a rock band. Yeah. This is more than a rock band.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because those textures in between the previous album, Woodface, and this album, they actually brought on a designated keyboard player. Now he's a kick-ass guitar player as well. He's an American guy, actually, called Mark Hart. Mark Hart was like this musical savant. He was like the Bill Vivino of Crowded House, and he did. It was the first time that they actually had a guy that was a really good keyboard player playing that wasn't Eddie Rayner. Now, Eddie Rayner was the guy who would session. He was like a session musician on their previous albums, and his keyboard parts were very almost jazzy, but he used a lot of like, that like chorusy honky tonk piano sound. He used a lot of that, and it was like, it was good, but it was a little weird. Mark Hart, different type of keyboard player, very texture, very chords, pads, pianos, things like that.
That's the word I was looking for.
So I think the combination of where they were, the environment they were in, the producer, and then this introduction of this, very texturally influenced keyboard player. Like, if you listen to Woodface and then listen to Together Alone, you can really tell. And Mark Hart was actually on a couple of tracks on Woodface, and you can hear what tracks he's on, because it sounds like Together Alone. So those things, that's what you're talking about. A very reverb-laden guitars,
the reverb, so good.
It's really good. And I mean, like, think about it. All of that was gotten recorded in some guy's house.
I love that. I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's not a treated environment.
We were talking before we were recording, and you were saying you had said that it's essentially you want to be that guy. You said you want a studio in your house that people like will want to go to because of the sound that you can produce and fast, and you have it dialed in, and obviously you the main thing you want, and I want it too, of course, is just to be part of that process of making great music, proud of music.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, man.
Like good sounding music and like working with good writers is like, what more could you want? So that's what you're hearing when it's a great point that you made. Like there's something going on in this record that's, you can't quite put your finger on. That's what it is. It's this.
Okay.
And you're also, because I had the exact same feeling when I listened to the whole album for the first time when I was like 17 or something, 16. And you're hearing the place as well in all of the songs. You're hearing the where they are, which is, and that's why I chose this record, because it's great music. Yes, the songwriting is fantastic and the musicianship is great, but it's one of those records that you're almost transported to where they are.
Oh man,
you know.
It's
and
so
that's
cool.
That to me is like really cool. And just the name of the record, Together Alone, you know, it's like a complete, it's a paradox, you know.
Yeah.
But if you were like, well, Together Alone, what a weird name for an album. You can't be together and alone. And then you get, oh, we get it, you know. They were like on the edge of the world where they were recording.
Yeah,
this.
man.
It's crazy.
That concept of paradox or opposites, like I think the next song highlights that, because in My Command, like there's so much cool dissonance with some of the parts, and then that when it hits that chorus,
melody, harmony,
the melody, the harmonies, it's like it brightened. It was like the sun came out.
Yeah,
when that chorus hits.
That's actually a phrase that a lot of people use when they describe Neil Finn's songwriting. It's like the sun coming out, like on the previous album, Fall at Your Feet. And actually, he was part of a project. He spearheaded a project called Seven Worlds Collide, and the name of their second record is The Sun Came Out.
Wow.
Because it's been used so many times to describe him. But that's what it's like. Because so in My Command track too, it's got this very kind of dissonant guitar part, like descending guitar part in the verses, and then I'm trying to remember what the transition into the chorus. You know so well, and I would love to trouble you in your time. And there's all these harmonies going on behind it.
So nice.
And then so it's really good. And then it goes into this like second verse, which again back to the dissonance, and then like this really kind of stomping bridge. And like you're talking about the sun coming out, that last chorus is like a fucking supernova. Because like you have all of the elements of the previous chorus, and then there's this they had this like Maori male choir sing underneath all that, doing this this ascending line, which is like the opposite of the other line. And the verse is all descending stuff, and then they have this like, and then they do it like 4 times around, and then they just hold this high note at the end of it, and it's like being at church. It's like being at a gospel church where everyone's just like that. It's like a celebration. It's but weirdly dichotomic as well, because the song is, I mean, In My Command, it's about control. It's about, you know, it's crazy. It's just what they were able to do with, you know, it's like the complexity of it.
Yes,
is crazy. It's really crazy.
But you know what is complexity, but execution. The execution makes it seem. It's like it was easy to listen to. It's not complex to listen to.
Yeah,
but it is complex, but the execution makes it so perfect.
I mean, even from the introduction, because Rakei is quite a gentle, like there's volume control, there's restraint. You know, in that first song, there's a lot of restraint. And then, I mean, the intro to In My Command is, you know, it's very bombastic, and You know, that's great because it shows maturity as an artist when you can like a lot of people would be like, you know, a lot of the guys with the cigars and the slick back ponytail would be like, hey, put in my command first, it's louder, you know. But no, they didn't. They were like even the name of the first tune, and this is why I love this album so much. Hey, you know what? In My Command is the first song, but track number 1 is a postcard of where we are.
Yes.
You know, and it's very clever, very smart. You know?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Contrasting, but super, super clever. You know, really good. You know, In My Command is like a killer song live. I've played it live a few times.
Oh, have you?
It's really great. Yeah, it's really great.
Nails in My Feet is next. Dude, I love the brushes on the snare sound. In fact, it was so punchy, but beyond the drummer shit of punchy and the tuning of it just fit. It was perfect for the song. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even think about it was a brush until like, oh, what's the drummer doing? Because there's so much to listen to. So the drums are pretty much almost the last thing I was really focusing on. And the drums, by the way, are great. Yeah. The drum sounds in this whole album are amazing, and like that perfect early 90s kind of live room drum sound. And by the way, one thing about this song, and I noticed this as a somewhat of a repeated thing, was at the end of some of these songs, for some reason the bass line was just got cooler. Yeah. Did you notice that? Yeah. So Nails in My Feet is that one that goes dung 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 dung. Yeah, something that. So the bass player and drummer, and it's a really good song to talk about the rhythm section of this band, because they were like, anytime you look up either of them individually on the internet for opinions, or as a collective rhythm section, like, it's the one word that you see all underrated. Oh, sure. Super underrated rhythm section. Paul Hester, he never really did anything super complicated drum wise. When he played a lot with brushes. And he played mostly with sticks, but he played a lot with brushes as well. His stick playing is very like appropriate. Oh yeah, like pocket, good pocket player. Good pocket. Real tasteful. Yeah, but his brushes, like the way he used to stir the snare with the brush. Yes, and then so he's basically stirring instead of using the hat, and then his left foot is like hitting some hat notes. Yep. But he's like stirring the snare, and he's like hitting, and he's like, to watch him do it, to watch the intensity on his face as he's doing it. He's like so concentrated. It was really good. And he uses like brushes, like hair brushes. He uses like, because you can get them with like steel rods as well. Wait, what? Yeah, he used like the fabric brushes. Like they're like, it's almost like a horsehair brush. It's like what's his name? Almost like Paul Hester. Like, not a hairbrush you brush your hair with, like a brush that's actually a brush. Like, so you can get, there's two types of brush sticks, right? There's the ones with the steel, and then there's ones with like actual, like a brush. It's almost like the same material that would be on a, Oh, okay. Wait, Paul Hester's the drummer? Paul Hester is the drummer, yeah. Oh, I see, okay. Yeah. Did he pass? He committed suicide. Yeah, very sad. For real? I want to say like early 2000s, maybe 2000 and Jesus Christ, 2003 maybe, I don't know. Yeah, he had some. Actually, during this time, he had some like really big issues. Personal life issues. He was one of these. He was almost like a Robin Williams type character, very funny, but like the kind of sad clown, I guess. I see. Yeah. He had a lot of like mental health issues, but yeah, he committed suicide. He hung himself in Melbourne 10 or 15 years ago. But wonderful drummer, super appropriate, got a really good drum sound. Like, even listening to their live stuff,
his drum sound was always like his drums were always, and I know this might sound like a dumb thing, but it's an art. His drums were always really well tuned.
Oh yeah,
his sound was really good. You know,
everything sounds great. Everything drum sounds fantastic.
It does. I mean, the percussion as well. He does a lot of like hand percussion stuff. And
did he play that hand percussion? Do you think?
Some of it he did. The more so on 2 songs, on Private Universe and on Together Alone, the closing track, they used log drummers, Maori log drummers.
Oh, not tabla?
There was some different types of drums there, but so in Together Alone there's a tabla, boom 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 boom, like a talking drum. But then from the change in Private Universe, from the change onwards, it's log drums. So there are these hollowed out logs that Maoris use for drumming, and they sound incredible.
That's an amazing instrument.
If you listen to Private Universe on a good set of headphones, it's just just the sound of the drums. But and then I listened to
on these speakers, by the way. I just sat here. That was great. It was great. Yeah. Loved it.
A beautiful album. And then the other part of the rhythm section, Nick Seymour, again, super underrated. Became a very good bass player as his career progressed. But again, he was very much into albums like artists like the Beatles and the Kinks, so he was into that vintage bass sound, super appropriate, but very kind of busy, and
in a good way, in a good way.
Yeah. Always played a bass line, always came up with something that added to the song.
Yep.
You know, like going back to track 1, do-do-dung, do-dung-dung, do-do-do-do-dung-dung, really appropriate bass, but not just hey, just play the root notes. He came up with his parts, and he wrote his parts, and I'm just looking through the album here. Kara Kari, great bass line. In My Command, great bass line. Nails in My Feet, I believe that's quite a restrained bass line until the end.
I put in caps, love the bass line in Nails in My Feet.
Yeah. Nails in My Feet
at the end of the tune, I guess, is what I mean.
Yeah, when it kind of... So that thing, when I was talking about the producer early on, and he would be like, yeah, just keep playing. That was a result of that. Those little jams. They had there's a couple of songs where they have these jams, particularly Nails in My Feet and Catherine Wheel. They have these jams, the songs extended, and there's no real ending to it. Sure. It's it just kind of fades out, and it's beautiful.
Out. Yep.
Yeah. And it's very expressive, you know. Nails in My Feet. It's got a really nice accordion part, which it's not an instrument that I'd usually associate with being cool, but it's a very... Nails in My Feet is a very kind of... It's almost like you're sitting in a living room and there's a fire blazing, and it's a very cozy kind of sound. And those opening lyrics, the odd times we slept, slither down the dark path. I mean, Jesus. It's just just my hair is standing up on my skin right now just thinking about that lyric. The odd time we slept, slithered down the dark path. Just, very good turn of phrase, really good. Really good.
There's a lot of accordion on this record.
There is. A
couple other songs had it.
Walking on the Spot.
Wait. Is it Waiting on the Spot or Walking?
Oh, you know what? I have these songs backwards. Nails in My Feet is a different song. Nails in My Feet is the one. Doom, 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 doodle, doom, 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 and Walking on the Spot is the song that I'm thinking of right now. Nails in My Feet is a different song.
Because when you said the accordion, I was like, wait.
Yeah. That's later on. That's Walking on. I my entire life I've gotten those two songs the other way around.
Okay. So this has this song had remind me of the Beatles. If the Beatles and Peter Frampton
Yeah, it's got a groove. It's the bass groove's really good. Now that I'm talking about the correct song, my life is a house. Climb through the window, slip across the floor and into the reception room. Yeah, it's really, really good.
There's like slide guitar, I think. There's a accordion. The harmonies are so good on this.
And the chorus, yeah, beautiful. And the song, lyrically, the song is like he's talking about, like the opening line, my life is a house, I climb to the window, slip across the floor and into the reception room. I mean, Neil Finn, you bad motherfucker. It's just like, every time you like read one of his lyrics off, incredible. And again, very similar thing within my command. Not as much of a dissonant verse here. A groove, dung, doodle, dung, dung, and the brushes as well going on. And then that chorus with the piano and the vocals. It's just like
so nice.
It's like the sun coming out. It's like
and the song is
morning.
Short and sweet.
Yep, it's
the perfect song.
Yeah, very short, very sweet. And then this is the one where I'm just trying to think of the ending of this one. Yeah, it's got a very cool kind of jam at the end of it. It's very cool. Nails in my feet. Thanks for pointing out that there was no accordion, or that the accordion was different in the song, because I was like, hang on a minute, I'm talking about Walking on the Spot, which is track 9.
The only reason why that stuck out to me is because I noticed the accordion later on in the last half of the album.
Yes.
And I remember it being like a thing of, they're throwing in the accordion too. Cool.
Yeah.
When you can use that instrument tastefully, in a modern music type of sense, like, I respect that. That's hard to do.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I remember Counting Crows did a really good job of getting like a lot of good accordion on their earlier stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Nails in My Feet. Great tune. And obviously, like, Neil and Tim Finn, who were brothers, they were raised in Te Awamutu in New Zealand, and they were brought up in a very Catholic household. So Nails in My Feet is like the song title is elusive of that. It's alluding to that Catholicism and the stigmata and things like that. And the interesting thing about Nails in My Feet is there's something happens in the third verse, the final verse of the song, that there's this string part comes in that creates like so much tension. The lights went on and everybody screamed surprise. That verse. The savagery grew. It left me gasping, but it warms my heart to see that you can do it too. It's like,
wow,
really, really nicely poetic, but like there's a tension there as well. Very cool writing. Awesome.
Black and White Boy, is that what it says? Is that
Black and White Boy is their. When I listen to this record, it would probably be between Black and White Boy and Skin Feeling for my least favorite songs on the record. Those two songs would be songs that would have been really influenced by youth. Kind of a heavier sound. Almost like U2.
Yeah, because I was going to say the great use of reverb and delay on that lead guitar.
Yeah,
really good. And then it blended. It's cool. It blended with like a distorted rhythm guitar as well. Yeah. So they were very opposite, but it made the song very cool. And I love that the snare drum, by the way, the backbeat snares off.
Snares off
on
snares off on that one. Yeah,
and it's the same beat throughout. Like in fact, it's almost like they showed up to record and they forgot the cymbals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what? I want to go out on a limb and say something here. So at one stage of the recording of this album, Paul Hester left. I think Neil Finn played drums on Black and White Boy.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
And because there is a difference to the way that the drums are hit on that song. And
Okay.
I want to say now, I would need to fact check this, but I want to say that Neil Finn played the drums on Black and White Boy.
Okay.
Because Paul Hester had to take a break from recording after a few months, and he wasn't there. I might be completely wrong about that, but I want to say that.
You could be right. Could be right. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, like, very simple songwriting.
Wow, I'm bummed out, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm bummed out that this guy committed suicide. It's like, Jesus Christ, the amount of talent.
Yeah. Hey, man, it was like
tragedy, man.
He just fit that, depressed kind of clown trope just to a T. He was very funny, very charismatic in person, but just had a lot going on there, man. A lot. Yeah, he left the band on a few occasions. He was quite, unpredictable.
Okay.
And eventually he left the band and was actually hired back as a session musician. For the very... So they recorded this record. They did a tour.
Okay.
And something very interesting happened with Crowded House. They had that huge hit with Don't Dream It's Over. They had a few decent songs on their second record. They released the first single they released from Woodface, the album before Together Alone, was a song called Chocolate Cake. Okay. And it ruined their career in America because it was a song that was written about greed and gluttony and like bad taste and things like that. And one of the lyrics on it was, the excess of fat on your American bones will cushion the impact as you sink like a stone. So they were like, this was the first fucking single they released from that record, and it basically you that's not something that no.
So wait, this came out. This is an earlier one, right?
That was in 1991, yeah. So they kind of they toured that album, but not a whole lot. They did mostly Europe, and weirdly they were supported by Sheryl Crow. On either that tour or the tour after Together Alone, and they in the United States they had this weird thing where Sheryl Crow went on first. And they went on second, and Sheryl Crow was higher in the charts, outselling them, and also people were leaving after Sheryl Crow. Like the arenas, like if it was like a 5,000 seater arena, like 2,000 people were leaving after Sheryl Crow because they were there to see her.
Okay,
so like a very weird kind of trajectory, and I think that took its toll on, like, Paul Hester was a very, I want to say, like, with as much respect in the world, like, he was very fragile,
Sure.
And that probably, I think, they were playing in Atlanta, and there was an altercation before the gig, and he was just like, I'm out of here, I'm going back to Australia. They had made their money, they all made a ton of money from Don't Dream It's Over and all that. So,
sure.
But tough. I mean, I remember reading when he died, I was like, this was a band and a group of artists and musicians that were massively influential to me. I've listened to this band's music more than any other band.
Wow.
It was tough. Like, hearing that he had died, it was really tough, But you can hear it on this record a little bit, that it's a beautiful record, but things aren't okay,
And he's now, how much of the songwriting other than drums did he contribute?
He usually had for this album and Woodface, he had one song on each album. So on this, Skin Feeling, the track 10, I believe.
The last track was his?
No, track 12.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Track 12. Yeah.
Second to last one, I guess.
Skin Feeling was his song.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so he had that.
I'm feeling, yeah.
Interesting. He had, so okay, this makes sense. Because the drums were fucking 80s almost, right? And,
definitely.
But it's funny. It's like the drums were in the 80s, but the guitar and the bass were very much 90s production style.
Yeah, very 90s, kind of chugging, dun, 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 kind of U2-ish again.
Yes, yes.
Melodically very good, and that lyric, I'm looking old, I'm feeling young, it's the truth, my child, my second life has just begun. Yeah, it's really good lyrically. I mean, this is a guy who was very much the secondary songwriter. Like, you have 13 tunes on this record.
Yeah.
12 of them were completely written by Neil Finn. But then you have this other guy who's like, deep and kind of sensitive. And
did he sing?
Lyrically. He sang Skin Feeling too, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Usually a lot of his songwriting was almost comic.
Okay.
But this one was like a serious tune that he wrote for this record. It's very good. I like Skin Feeling a lot, actually. I think it's actually a good song.
Yeah, it has that Mysterious Ways feel.
Very U2 kind of, yeah. I think Acting Baby had just come out before they released this, so it was like I think U2 were a really big influence on them, and Pearl Jam as well. They were actually, I think Eddie Vedder was present for some of this recording. I don't know if he sang on any of it, but
really?
They were very influenced by Pearl Jam too. Yeah,
really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they kind of, I guess they were buds. They were like, I know they used to surf together.
Wow.
And pretty mad, but like Hester he was an artist, man. He was a great drummer, good songwriter. He was addicted to television.
Addicted?
He was addicted to television. Yeah, he was a telly addict. That's what they used to say. Yeah, I'm a telly addict. In fact, they had a song called "My Telly's Gone Bung," which didn't make it onto the record, but it was a song about his television breaking. But yeah, he was a television addict.
What does that mean, an addict? What does that look like?
He would just sit and watch TV for days and days and days.
Just keep watching?
Keep watching, yeah.
Wow.
Just whatever was on. He didn't care. He was a television addict, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And really weirdly, he ended up with his own TV show.
He did?
Hesse's Shed. After he left Crowded House, he had a TV show called Hesse's Shed, which was like a talk show.
Wow.
Like a late night with Conan O'Brien type thing or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
That type of thing, just in Australia, called Hesse's Shed. And actually Crowded House came and played on it because they remained very good friends even after he left the band. Yeah. There's a different vibe in that part of the world, you like, I'm leaving the band. Okay, you want to go get a cup of coffee? You know what I mean, type of thing.
Oh, dude, all these episodes are all on YouTube. Hesse's Shed.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, kind of a mad fucker, but really, really super talented. Yeah, cool. And you can hear it in his playing, and especially I think this record is the best representation of his playing.
The percussion towards the end of this song was this album. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. The producer, because it really was just like, no, go crazy, go nuts, because that's what it seemed like happened. Let's just add more. Fuck it, let's just add more.
I mean, look,
everything tasteful.
Yeah, because you got good musicians playing and people who are in an environment where they're comfortable and they're not watching the clock, and like, there's a lot of value to that. Like you were saying earlier on, that's why I would rather have good mics and good equipment in my own studio, because I mean, I've paid $10,000 for 6 days in a studio, and it's fucking pointless. Still only get 8 hours a day, and then as soon as the engineer's done, you're done. So yeah, it's the sound of people just playing in a room, and somebody just incidentally put some mics in there and recorded it, which is great. Yep. That's what an album should sound like. But like, what I like about the drumming on this record is he uses the brushes a lot more. I'm just thinking about, I want to say Nails in My Feet, Pineapple Head.
Pineapple Head, definitely. Yep.
Walking on the Spot.
Which, by the way, snares off.
Pineapple Head
with brush is its own sound, and
yes,
it has somewhat of like a hand drum feel to it.
It always reminded me of a very, very small, a very flat tom sound.
Yeah, exactly, like a frame drum. Yeah. Yep, definitely.
So let me see here, just counting them out, because I know that in his previous record, I mean, there was no brushes on the first album, and then there was one song with brushes on the second. Don't know about.
Did anybody use a single brush in the 80s?
Like a stick and a brush?
I'm saying in the 80s, did anybody
ever use
a brush?
No, never. Never. I guess it was like a thing. I mean, they had a song on their second record called Sister Madly, which is it's like a swing song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but beautiful brush player. But he uses it 5 times.
Yeah,
he uses brushes 5 times.
I love it. I think it's great. Dude, I almost hate brushes because, and not in the sense of I like the sound it's a challenge for me. It's a hurdle. It's always been a hurdle. It's like, it's a thing. I feel like I just can't get the sound that I want. So I feel like I'm always making do with whatever comes out.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a discipline. It's definitely a different discipline. But I mean, when you think about it, like versus, I believe Bleach, Nirvana's Bleach came out in 93. Sure. I want to say.
No.
In Utero, 93. Nevermind was 91, right?
91. Bleach was. Sorry, give me a sec here.
I think Nirvana released a record in 93 or 94.
In Utero was the last one, but Bleach came out in 89.
That was before Nevermind, right? So like these heavy albums, like I think Soundgarden had a record out, REM, these were the big bands in the world at the time. Nobody was using brushes percussively. Nobody was using brushes. Brushes were for jazz swing, and that's it. Yep. And here's this guy, very cleverly and very appropriately using brushes on pop music, which is, And
what's interesting is you think back then, because apparently this was a thing that in the, I guess, late 80s, early 90s, they departed from that 80s snare drum sound, you know what I mean? Like over the top kind of reverby. And they got a real snare drum sound. That, like I said before, that Nevermind snare drum sound, right? That was what they would spend hours trying to dial in that sound. Hours. Crazy. Like sometimes days. Moving the fucking drum set and the mics, trying a different drum, and and it's funny. It's like I wonder if, because it sounds like on this record that they started from a place of serve the song, and then in the same vein of serving the song, by almost as if that were a law. That we can't record anything if it doesn't serve the song. They were able to add so much sonic texture and character to it, but through that one law of, is it serve the song? So I wonder if the brush choice was just very simple, like, no, this is what this song needs. So they probably saved so much time. As far as trying to dial in that 90s snare drum sound, because you kind of hear it on this record. You hear that snare drum sound, that live snare sound. So
I mean, it's very well engineered, and it's very, it's very powerful. Like the drum sound when he's using sticks and when he's doing a beat, when he's in the pocket, it's very, just thinking of like Locked Out. That's a very powerful drum sound. And Distant Sun's just a straight ahead acoustic pop sound. Very tight, powerful drum sounds, really good.
Distant Sun, yeah, that's the one. Dude, there was strings and mandolin and accordion on that one, man. That was so cool, dude. I always loved the acoustic and the lead blend they did on the last couple songs. It was so nice.
Yeah, kind of. There's like a 4-song run in the middle there. Private Universe, Walking on the Spot, Distant Sun, and Catherine Wheels, where that's their wheelhouse. They're in their wheelhouse right there. Acoustic based, like Private Universe slightly different because it's more of a darker, but just the layering, like Private Universe, the layering of the instruments and the development of the song throughout. It just starts with like this picked acoustic, and then this like strummed acoustic comes in, and there's no real bass on it.
Yep.
It's just a pad, and then these like drums come in at these Maori drums come in at the end.
Yep.
And also like toms, like he's playing, like I think Hester did a lot of tom work on that particular song.
At the end towards the end of the song too, the way that song ends, there are these like atmospheric nature call sounds, and it sounded like the guitarist was doing that with effects pedals. It was cool.
Here's what they did. So there's a guitar part in that song. It's the guitar part, the distorted guitar part in the chorus. Mm-hmm. And I will run for shit. Those chords, and then it slides up at the end. So what they did is, to get that sound, they actually had a mic. They were in this valley, and they had a radio mic set up across the other side of the valley. And the house that they were recording in, they could actually, the way that the house was facing into the valley, okay, out towards the sea, but the whole window came out.
Oh, wow.
Of the house. So what they did is they set the guitar amp up, turned it up really loud, and Mark Hart was the player on that track, and he would just play the guitar chords, and it was this like delay reverb caused by and that's how they captured that sound.
Get the fuck out. For real?
If you go back and listen to it, they basically had one of the engineers went across to the other side of the valley with a radio mic with a long obviously good pickup on the radio mic between the transmitter and the receiver, and then he just held it there, and they would just record, and he picked it up, and it just recorded, it looped itself back into the board, and just had this. It's basically the sound of that guitar being played inside in this valley.
That's fucking brilliant. That's fucking brilliant, right? Brilliant, dude.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's because you're like going, shit, how did they get that sound? And that's what it is, because it's almost like slightly out of time as well.
Yep.
And that's what it is. It's,
It's very unique. I that's why I couldn't place what exactly it was, but it was guitar.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that is fucking cool, dude.
Cool, right? It's very cool. Yeah. So, but the entire, like, again, one of the reasons why I chose this album, the entire story of it, like they were recording in this house, but they had rented other people's houses around the valley to live in, and and eventually it got to the stage where there was like 10 or 15 houses that, like, the engineer was living in this one, and Neil Finn was living in this one, and Nick was in, and eventually it just got to the stage where, for the recording of the last song, Together Alone, they actually just had a barbecue. They invited the entire community, and they just like went out on the lawn, and everyone sat on the lawn, and they just brought all of the cables out, and they just sat around this like fire, and there was a brass band.
It's brass.
Like,
I was gonna say
there was a brass band.
Yep.
And so the brass band were over here, and the log drummers were here.
Yep.
And
so much percussion.
Yeah, and people. There was just people. You can hear people in the background like talking, and you can hear the crackling of the fire. And in fact, one of the people, the non-Maori people, mistook one of the log drums for a piece of firewood and threw it into the fire, and they had to like get the fire, because these log drums are blessed by the by the Maori religious leaders. So like we nearly angered the gods, but that like that closing song on the record, Together Alone, is just about 50 people just singing and playing out on the lawn, just in this valley overlooking this, just the edge of the world. Like, you saw the sea and that's it. That's
so
else
fucking cool, man. You know, there's something about like, so I listened to this album last night. I loved it, like straight through. I just sat right here, just loved it, right, on these speakers. And then I'm thinking about how all of these details you're filling in, right? Would it have been a better experience if I knew it before listening, right? Or is this the actual reason why you should listen to an album without the information, for just pure interpretation? And then if you're really invested and inspired, learning about it, because then you just rediscover why you love it more, why you like it more, why it's more special.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's better to listen to it initially the way that you listen to it, because you can form your own judgment on it, your own opinion on it. You can purely hear the music for the music. But then, like, when you go back and listen to it with all the other information, it actually just gives it a different,
for sure,
different kind of atmosphere. It gives it a different feel, Like, one of my favorite ways to listen to this record is, with all the lights out and the windows open. So you get a bit of a breeze and you're listening to it and it's dark and your senses are heightened, and it's a wonderful album to listen to at night, I remember listening to this album. I was driving in Ireland, actually, in the middle of the night. I was driving back from my sister's house in Ireland, back up to Cork City, and I had this on, and it was just like Ireland, rural Ireland is like, it's fucking pitch black. It's like nothing.
Oh, wow.
And just like listening to like Fingers of Love, like track 5, which is very... very vibey. The drum sound now, that's actually so they fed the auxiliary, so the reverb, there's no actual drum take on there, it's just the reverb from the drums that they put on there.
I was going to say, it sounded sampled.
Yes, it sounds sampled. What it is it's, the way if you have like reverb on a drum, you're using it through like an auxiliary or an insert, and then you turn the instrument down, but you turn the auxiliary up. You just hear the reverb. That's kind of, it's about 20% of the mic sound, and then about 80% of just the reverb, which is why it sounds
great, man.
It sounds cool. Very big. Yeah. And I believe, again, need to be fact checked on this, I believe Neil Finn played drums on Fingers of Love too.
Okay.
I believe that was one that he played drums on. But
great bass line, man.
Great bass line, yeah.
That was probably really the song. That might have been one of those. I remember, like, one of these songs. I remember going, I get Paul now.
Yeah.
Like, I hear you on this.
I would say that Nick Seymour, from my playing, as much as I'd love to say Tony Levin and Pino Palladino, I play most like this bass player, Nick Seymour. He's the guy that influenced me most. Yeah,
without
crazy,
a doubt.
Man.
Without a doubt, I said that immediately. I was like, oh, there's Paul.
There's Paul. That's where he gets it.
That's awesome, man. I like that.
Yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
Pretty good. I mean, pretty good bass player to be influenced by.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah, definitely. Because I like that there's independent choices being made there that are meaning like. It's somebody wanted to play that, but they made it fit the song, and that's what's most important. Of course, it's all tasteful.
And you know what I think I like at the time when I was almost studying these bass lines, like basically by learning them. I learned all of these bass lines.
Oh, you did? Wow.
And then I built my style of playing around that. Wow. And I think what I liked about it is there's a sense of freedom to the bass playing in all of Crowded. I mean, maybe not on their first record, but from everything on, like, there's definitely a sense of freedom to the bass playing in there, and I like that. I was never, and it's not from a place of ego. It's not like I want to do what I want on a record. It's just, if you're a musician and you're in a band and you're on a record or you're asked to do a record, you're being asked, or you're there for a reason,
Sure.
And I remember we spoke last week about my like worst experience in a studio is because that was taken away. Like what Nick Seymour.
Sure.
What Nick Seymour had on this record, that was taken away from me. That's how I wanted to record.
Yeah.
Let me give you my interpretation of the song communicated through my instrument. And that's what I like about this band. That's one of the things I like about this band. That's probably why, he would, like, Nick Seymour would definitely be my biggest influence as a bass player,
Wow, man. It's so cool. It's so cool. It was so cool to also sort of like, I love the 90s, man. So I kind of felt like, I'm getting a little taste here.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a little bit of nostalgia, It's a little bit, it's nostalgic in a number of ways. It was, they did reform in the 2000s.
Okay.
After Paul Hester's death, but it was the sound of a band playing their last album. Like I think when they recorded this album, I think during the recording of this album, I think Neil Finn knew that they weren't going to be doing another record anytime soon. After this, they did record 3 songs that were released as singles in like 1997 or something. But I think he kind of knew. He kind of knew this was going to be the last time, and it's like track 13, Together Alone. It's like, remember that song by the Beatles, The End? And in the end.
Yes.
It's like the last song on their, one of their records. And it like really, like it's almost like they knew this is, like that. If you were to listen to Together Alone, you were going to go, this is the last song this band recorded together. You'd be like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Wow, man. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And I guess it's such a bummer that he killed himself, man. That always hits me. Stuff like that hits me because he had, I read about it just as we were speaking about it. He had kids, and I think about fucking Chester from Linkin Park, and I'm pretty sure Chris Cornell had kids too from, but I don't know, man. Like that's hard. It's hard for me to, I'm a sensitive type too, I think.
Sure.
And so that's why when suicides like that happen, like Anthony Bourdain's another one, you think like, man, you guys have had such great experiences, and like I look at where you are and have been and go, I would love to be in my version of that there, where I do what I do, and it's desired, it's sought after. I do it I collaborate. And you think like, wow, that wasn't like, not that should be everything. Of course, that's not everything, but you know what I mean? It's it actually makes it scarier.
Yeah,
in a sense.
I think there's also an element of, especially with Paul Hester's death, there's an element of always got the impression that he regretted his actions when he left the band,
Okay.
I kind of felt like they were, if you watch any footage of them, they were very close. They were like friends before they were in a band,
Sure, okay.
And actually Neil Finn and Paul Hester had played in a band previous, a very famous New Zealand band called Split Enz. They had played in that band together.
Okay.
I always got the feeling just that, he just kind of regretted the way that things went down, maybe, or there was something unsaid, something, but I mean, if you get the opportunity, Anthony and people listening, obviously listen to Together Alone. I think it's a seminal Crowded House record, but if you get the opportunity, it might be on YouTube. Go and watch the Farewell to the World concert. So in 1996, I believe, Neil Finn broke the band up, basically. He said, I'm going to go solo and I'm not going to do Crowded House anymore. And they played their final gig on the steps of the Sydney Opera House to 300,000 people. And it's a very moving concert. Just the mix, the variance of emotions. And it's crazy because, like, they start the concert and it's like, you know, they're having a really good time, and then you can tell like they're getting to the end of their set list and the emotions are getting the better of them, and like you can really tell that they're, you know, they're all like, it's, what are we doing? Like, how are we breaking this band up? How is this, you know?
Well, I don't understand. Well, that's something I never understand with. I never understand. It must be an artist thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you break up a band?
I think it's an artistic decision. You know, I think it's an artistic decision.
Why can't you just not make a decision and just go off and do what you do? Like if this one's got a solo project, this one's got a side, just live your fucking lives. Why do you have to break it up? I never understood that, man. Like Radiohead. Mm-hmm. Radiohead's been radio silent in the last couple of years as far as albums go. They're due for another one. I get the feeling that they're not going to do another one for a long time, if ever again.
Yeah.
That's
kind of like Pink Floyd. I mean, they released Momentary Lapse of Reason, I believe, was their... Before the whatever River, the latest one they brought out a few years back, like 1990 something was their last album, or even possibly maybe 1991. But they didn't break up; they just didn't record anymore.
They just didn't record. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're friends still, you know? Right? You still have a relationship with each other.
Yeah.
You know, why would you publicly tell the world that you're breaking? Like, why would you do that to yourself? I'm not saying that it's not I don't think it's an unhealthy choice completely for a group of people to collectively go, hey guys, I think we've milked our sound. It might be better to just, the idea of this name of a band and what we've already presented for years, maybe we should just bring this to a close, right?
Sure.
But I would certainly turn around after doing that and go, okay, what's our next band name? And just completely start, like, why would I want to play with other, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, I would totally always want to play with other musicians, but why would I not want to play with this lineup of musicians? Like, just approach it differently, take some time away from it. You know, I don't know. Just to me, why do that to yourself? And then like do that to, also, why do that to fans? Yeah. That's heartbreaking, man, to a fan base. You know, if the Foo Fighters were to break up, don't get me wrong, the last album they put out, it's very, very recent, this year. I'm not really a fan of, to be honest with you. I don't really like it that much, but
sure,
it's not what that's about. I would go see that band live anytime they're touring, right? The fact that they exist as an entity is enough for me. They don't even need to put out an album for me to love them. You know what I'm saying? So why, if they were to break up, that would be like, they're a part of my life. You know what I mean? It's like parents getting divorced, you know?
Yeah.
In some sense, obviously not anywhere close to as bad, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's interesting. I don't understand bands that do that.
I mean, there may have been an element of a business decision to it.
Okay.
Like they did release, their record company released a greatest hits right around the time of their farewell concert. So there may have been a little bit of, you know, gamesmanship there.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, like, they're artists, but Neil Finn was a very smart guy, you know? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a communication. It's like, I'm instead of just letting something die on the vine, if you break up a band, there's kind of an element of mystique about the albums that they never got to record. Like the Beatles broke up. They didn't just stop, they actually broke up.
Yeah.
There always has been a mystique to, man, what would the Beatles have done in the 70s?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You know, what if they had just pushed through their differences and just kept on recording music into the 70s and 80s? Wow, what would they have done? There was an attempt to create a mystique about, like, if you finish something, instead of, oh, they mustn't have any songs anymore. Like, how come Crowded House haven't released an album in 10 years? They mustn't be that good. They can't come up with an album in 10 years. Like, if you, like, breaking up an album allows you to almost create a legend in a way.
Sure, okay.
You know, so let's say, like, if the Beatles had not broken up, if nobody had known what had happened with the Beatles and they just stopped recording albums, people would have been like, mustn't have been that good. They don't, obviously, you know, because the perception is the reason you didn't record an album is because you didn't have any material, you know?
Hey, man, but that's number one thing is I don't give a fuck about, I don't care about the narrative of what the public sees, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, when we're in the room together as a band, that's all I care about. In fact, if there is some sort of manager, agent, and then obviously a producer, engineer, anybody extra in the room, in a sense, and this might sound shitty, but like that person has just an invitation to be there, and that invitation could go away because they're not in the band. Meaning that when you're creating with people like that, you've successfully made songs together and put out an album. There's a little bit of a protectiveness, and I've found it's almost like I've found a chemistry, a very important chemistry with these groups of musicians. So anything outside of them and their families, I think, like, you have to, of course, everybody's family is important too as well. But you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody outside of that group matters when it comes down to it. The fans matter, but not in making decisions.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, they can influence decisions, but not directly influence decisions. Yeah, like I think so. One example would be, like, I was thinking about it the other day because I was listening to Kid A, and just thinking about, wow, they like, you would have thought that the statement of, or I maybe not, I don't know, the statement, the idea of Radiohead walking away from a sound of, they had an album, they would put out an album and had a certain sound, and they would just completely walk away from the Bends, for instance. They could have milked that sound for another couple of years.
Sure.
They walked away from it. They did OK Computer, which was like Pink Floyd level type sound. Like, wow, nobody could have ever thought of this type of sound. This sound didn't exist, right? Now the fans are like, oh my God, give me more of this, right? And they completely walked away from that sound and then did Kid A. And it is true that there are people who loved that sound of OK Computer so much, like that almost spoke to them, right? Like they found, oh my God, this is what I've always wanted. And then they never created that sound really ever again. That person's legitimately bummed out. That person's legitimately pissed off, right? And they kind of have a right to be, in a sense. But at the same time, the point is Radiohead said, we don't care. We don't want to repeat ourselves. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to be artists and to discover a new way of communicating what we feel through music and how it sounds. If we're really artists, it's going to sound different. It's a different time. You know, our lives are different. You know, So anyway, that's my thoughts on like the band, and then how they communicate, what they communicate, and how they interact with the public. I don't know.
Right.
It's.
I think you also have people. It's about people. It's about how people see things, and in the case of Crowded House, like, as important as Nick Seymour and Paul Hester were to the band from a performance standpoint, it was Neil Finn's thing. It was his band. I mean,
okay.
It's not like he could have left it. You know what I mean? And
sure,
he wanted, I guess he wanted the band to not exist anymore, simply because, like, here's what I think happened. He, like, a few years after the Farewell to the World, not many years after, like, pretty quickly, he released a solo album called Try Whistling This, which was pretty good. Imagine. So you don't break up your band, all right? You just leave your band on, like, dying on the vine a little bit, and then you go and you release your solo album, and you spent months recording these songs that are yours. It's Neil Finn.
Sure.
And you send the tapes off to be mastered, and they're mastered, and it's released, and then you sit down and you go, what do you do when you're releasing a record? You got to do some press, and you go into the radio station and you sit down, and the radio DJ says, this is a really, really good album. When are Crowded House getting back together? Like,
I get that, but that's, you just don't, fuck that. Yeah. And if you want to say fuck that, fuck your question in the moment, say that. Who cares? I'm not doing, you don't have to have a good relationship with that radio DJ. Who cares? Because I don't know. Dude, Ed O'Brien, Phil Selway, Johnny Greenwood, all members of Radiohead, all have put out solo projects or solo albums in the last 5 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and I know Johnny Greenwood is very heavily into composition now as well.
He does a lot of movies as well.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. He did. I think he did the last Daniel Day-Lewis movie. He does a lot with Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
he does a lot of that. Yeah.
I'm only saying, like, nobody's, they're not. They don't seem to be concerned with like, oh, when is Radiohead gonna really, I don't know. I don't look at that as like ooh, that would be, what if that happened? That would be shitty. Well, I guess I don't know. You weren't. Sure. How about this? You weren't thinking about Radiohead, you weren't thinking about. He wasn't thinking about Crowded House when he recorded his solo album.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I can kind of understand. I can understand where it comes from. Like, you want to just have it. This is where this ends, and this is where this other thing begins. Some people are just like that, I guess.
Maybe what it is. You know what it is, dude. Maybe I'm just one of those fucking millennial, like. I don't quite understand the context then.
Sure.
Which is in the mid '90s. Mm-hmm. The public, the media controlled you, meaning how you were thought of.
Yeah, because you didn't have a direct avenue to your audience.
Yes.
You spoke to your audience through your concerts, your albums, and your press.
Yeah, so I guess the only way you saw what the world thought of you was through an article in the newspaper or some news thing or whatever. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah. Anyway, that was a little tangent there.
No, I mean, it's definitely a very appropriate thing to talk about in the context of the record that we were just talking about, because, just the last tune on it, the name of the record, the way that it was recorded, the isolation,
Yeah.
I mean, you look up Carry Carry on a map, and you look at how isolated it was, and that's definitely metaphorical as well as, like, it's actual. They were actually there.
They're actually, yeah.
Yeah, but also there's like a kind of, you gotta think, like, maybe they had to be there. Maybe they knew that they weren't going to get this album done if they were if they had all of their friends around and they were in a city with their families. I mean, maybe the just getting this album done required them being in the middle of fucking nowhere, like hanging off a rock in at the edge of the world. It
could have been taxing.
Mm-hmm.
While beautiful sounds come out of them, it might be I guess it might be taxing of an investment of time and energy to do such a thing. Almost feels like you ever like get with there's people that you have a chemistry with, even just not even musically, but just talking to conversation, and you don't have a problem with these people, like they're your friends.
Sure.
But you wind up in the weeds in conversation where you're sort of almost like you're circling, debating, and arguing the whole time. It's just, and you don't hate it, but by the end of it, you're just exhausted. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, I don't need to see you for another 3 months.
Yeah. And I mean, also there's a dynamic in Crowded House, Like there's a dynamic. There's not the same dynamic in Radiohead,
Sure.
I mean, like Radiohead, all like you said, like a lot of the band members released solo records, a lot of those guys are songwriters in their own right. Like Nick Seymour and Paul Hester were very much sidemen in this band. There was no thought of a career outside of Crowded House for either of these guys. Now, incidentally, the first thing Nick Seymour went and did was produced an Irish band called Bell X1 and did a really good job on their first record, and they became quite... Bell X1 was they used to be called Juniper, which is the band that Damien Rice started in.
Oh, wow.
So Nick Seymour produced them. Paul Hester went on and became a TV host, and he did some music, and I think Nick Seymour had a band called Dead Star as well. And they had a couple of like modest hits in Oceania, kind of, so this was like the dynamic was very imbalanced there. It was like a captain and not even lieutenants, like captain. There was a captain and two cabin boys.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Almost. So it's like, and that's a very definitive relationship right there, and it's very defined. It's super defined. So that's tough. And I mean, I've always felt like Neil Finn did them a favor by breaking up the band.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because if he didn't, they're just going to sit around waiting for the next Crowded House album to be started. Like, hey, Neil, do you have like 13 songs we can go in and record? Whereas if you break up the band, you're like, why don't you go do something else? There's a song on after they broke up, Crowded House released an album of B-sides called Afterglow, and there's a song called Time Immemorial. And it was, the lyrics are really clever in it. The last verse is, the house that we live in is falling apart. There's no guarantee because we got it for free. And all the pretenders to somebody's throne are finally out on their own. And it's like, go see what else you can be, Wow, and they did. It's like they went and they did other things, and they would never have had that. I don't feel like they would have had that ambition to go out and do those things if they were hanging on to another Crowded House album. Like Nick Seymour created all the artwork for their albums. I mean, he became an a visual artist in his own right. I mean, he had exhibitions and all the rest of it. Wow. Yeah, I feel like if you're in a band and you're just waiting for your band leader to record a bunch of songs or to write a bunch of songs to record, you're just going to kind of wait around for that. So that's my perspective, is like, here, I'm going to do you guys a favor. This band is over. You need to do something else now. Like, I'm going to do something else now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his art by the way, right now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, he's he lives in Dublin, and he's an great artist. You know, really good artist. Dude, this was awesome.
This is good. This is good, man. We can do this again.
Yeah, this was like two really kind of interesting Antipodean artists that we've spoken about, who've existed completely independent of each other, but come from the same part of the world. You think maybe Jordan listened to Together Alone?
You know what, man? I imagine that there's some nationalistic importance and value for sure. I mean, another Australian band that we can certainly... I'll pick one of their albums for sure to do in the future, but Hiatus Coyote.
Okay.
Yeah, I think... wait, am I wrong? I might be wrong. I should hold up a second.
Are you geographically wrong here? Are they from fucking Peru or something?
No, I think they're Australian. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're Australian. They're from they formed in Melbourne. Yeah.
Melbourne, yeah.
So, yeah, dude, there's something about Australia, man. Something about Australia.
I mean, fucking Bickrunga, Tim Finn, In Excess, Midnight Oil.
Yeah.
The Bee Gees.
Bee Gees.
Yeah, fucking there's something in the water down there, man.
Yeah, man.
They've got some good shit.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude, and I think
Tears for Fears were from Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Great band.
Hey. I fucking love that song.
Which one?
Don't you forget
it's a different band, dude.
Is it?
Yeah,
that's not Tears for Fears?
No, that's Simple Minds. They're from Scotland.
Oh, fuck. I got it wrong.
Yeah. Tears for Fears is everybody wants to rule the...
I love that song, too. I fucking love that song, man.
Yeah. And you know that Tears for Fears, remember that song, Mad World? All around us are familiar faces. The song from fucking...
Oh, my God. I fucking love that song.
That's originally a Tears for Fears song.
Really?
They wrote that, yeah, man.
Who did that originally?
Tears for Fears, and then Gary Jules did like a piano version that was in Donnie Darko.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So check this out, right? You just said, what was the name of that? Mad World, right?
Yeah.
So Jordan Rakei on his next album after this one, Origins, the first song, he has a song titled Mad World.
Mad World. It might be a cover.
It's definitely not a cover, but it's a cool song. I don't think it's as good of a song as that one, though.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking song.
Yeah. Well, now, Tears for Fears version the original version is almost dancey.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like a pop song, and then the Gary Jules version is very, like, just piano. Do, 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 do. Very kind of Michael Andrews piano. Michael Andrews is very distinctive, kind of Satie-esque piano composer, very sparse, very spacey, but beautiful chords, very simplistic. And Gary Jules is an incredible singer who just disappeared again. I don't know what he's doing now, but
fuck, that's a great tune though. Everybody wants to sing. Yeah, rule the world.
Yeah,
cool.
Really good.
I mean, we should. Right, we should
do it
great
again.
Songs like that, great albums like that. Do it again, eventually in person, and we'll have our instruments. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, dude. It's been a pleasure. All right, everybody, check out these albums, please. Do yourself a favor. You're welcome in advance. And but done busy to you. Thanks, Paul.
Take care, Anne.